Hello everyone and welcome to the stream again. David, welcome. Glad you could catch the stream. How are you doing? So yeah, we're working on a horror Christmas game. I'm not sure if I can finish it before Christmas, but it's going to be a cool game. Anyway, it's going to be called Last Night Before Christmas. And it will be your last night before Christmas if you play this game. So if you don't want to spoil us, you might want to watch the streams after the game is finished. Let me quickly check if the VR is working. So if we do play, we should switch to VR. Still some stuff open here. I think it's working. So we are in VR now. It's pretty dark, but we should be able to click the play button if we can find it. Yes. So this is one of the things I want to change. You cannot really see what you are pointing at. That's what I want to start it today. And we can teleport to the window. Now, I think I left some debug things in. See, it's really hard, even for me. I know what I need to do to get to teleport to there, and it's still hard. So that's something we need to fix. Now, when we teleport here, we can look outside. And last stream we added some snow. There's a reindeer outside. It's an evil reindeer. It doesn't look evil yet, but it will. And this is part of the game. Now the rest of the room is dark, but that will change based on what's going on. And that's basically what we have right now. So I disabled a few parts of the script last stream. Let me quickly check if I can get those back. So there's supposed to be a text shown. Now you can't hear the music, I think, when the game is playing. The music is not streamed over the over the connection. Wait, I can let you in on the music. If I just pause this and we go into Wonderland Engine, go to local. Probably pretty loud. Let me make sure. So we should be able... No. I have a lot of trouble with the emulators. Yeah. Now we have the emulator. Yes, it is a short horror survival game inside a house. You need to do 5 puzzles. And it's... Okay... So now music changes. There are a couple of things I wanted to do in this game. Experiments. One of the things is the change of audio and music. So at Wonderland, I am working on an interaction library. This is the first time I'm really using that interaction library in a game. I posted it on Twitter, an experiment we did earlier, and we're working hard on having a first release of that that interaction library. But I'm using it in this game already. That's the best way to test it. So now you can hear the music changing a little bit, and that's what Fmod is doing. That's another library I'm working on. This is kinda the idea of the game. It's based on Twas the Night Before Christmas. But then a horror version. So when there's text here, you should get this. So you get this text. And the next thing that will happen is that lights will guide you throughout the room. Now, we should be able to... I don't have... Yeah, it's hard to get the way you're pointing. If we click OK, we go to the next step. So it's basically taking you on a ride the first few steps. Let me turn this back on. I think I have the poem is the first draft is AI generated, of course. And I'm tweaking it and splitting it into different parts, so we have hints of what you need to do in the poem that is shown. One of the other things I want to experiment with in this game is the design. I want to have it like black and white with touches of red. So when the text is shown, I added a red light. It's still an experiment. I'm not really sure. But if you see that red light next to the reading chair, you know that there is a text going on. This is just an experiment with the red star, just to have that red accent. And I still need to do a lot of textures here. The bed is untextured. I've got all the models from assets I bought online, found online. I'm some sort of asset hoarder. I've got a million assets, and then there's another humble bundle, and we get another 50 assets. It's but I've got a lot of room things, so I need to texture a couple of things. Now, what is going to happen is that we start next to the bed. That's where you see the first part of the poem, and then the lights go on in the room, and there's not much going on at first. But then there's a noise on the roof. That's the first little jump scare. And it's not... I can probably... If I take Fmod. It's almost like a crash of something on the roof. So it's going to be this sequence. At that point, you know it's for real. Then the second verse of the poem comes to the screen, and you're going to look outside. So that's where these lights will go on, the rest will stay dark. So you teleport here, you look outside, you see this reindeer. I can fly outside. There's this reindeer, and there will be blood or something on the floor, footsteps. Yes, it's a combination of all kinds of audio assets I have lying all over the place. Let me quickly see if I can... well, I can... It's also in Fmod, I think. There's still a lot of... I've not even used everything. It's just monster sounds. I've left them in there because I probably need some more monster sounds as well. These are the reindeer. So it's kind of Santa Claus meets Krampus. That's basically the idea. And the same for the music. I have a lot of... But it's actually from one pack, all of these. And they kind of layer together pretty well. So if I go to the music, So I don't have Act 3 yet. But if I would... So here, this is just after what we just heard. It's coming. There's more going on. So slowly this becomes more and more throughout the game. And this was an early experiment. I mean, those kind of things, if it slowly builds up, it is going to hopefully creep you out. That's the whole idea. But yeah, it's a long way to go, and there's so much I need to do. I don't have any puzzles yet. So one of them, the start of them is here. Oh, I was telling about the... so you see blood out here, and something that's dragging inside. And then you look around, you get another poem or a sound, and there will be a pentagram or something around the door, on the door, and with 5 Christmassy objects, like a Christmas tree. I think there's stockings. There's a Christmas ball decoration. So these kind of things will be on the door. And you need to... Those 5 assets or decorations, you need to find in the room. Now, you don't get them for free. So, for example, this Christmas tree. It's actually a model that I found. And it's kind of... I still need to break it apart. But it's kind of in 5 different... pieces. So what you need to do is rotate these in the right order. Now we need to give a hint, something. That's where the paintings are for. So the paintings, for example, will give you a hint on what you need to do with the Christmas tree. Or maybe we can use this Christmas tree. So there is a combination of red balls highlighting, and then you need to do the same thing on this Christmas tree, and then you get the Christmas tree, which you can, or it goes automatically, I don't know yet. It unlocks the first part. And then at some point you need to fill the stockings. So there's toys. There will be numbers on the bottom of the toys and stripes on the socks or something on the stockings. And then you need to you place the right toy in the right stocking, and then you get the stocking done. And there will be 5 of those puzzles throughout the room. And when you're done, you can escape. But I promise you, the game isn't called Last Christmas, or what is it? I forgot the name. Last Night Before Christmas, for a reason. I like movies and games that don't end well. I think it's especially horror movies. If they... Horror movies peak when they're the scariest. And I think that's the point where it needs to end. It needs to... take Blair Witch, the Blair Witch Project, for example. The moment that ends is when they run through that house, and then they come into that room, and you see one of the people that was missing standing there in the room, and you realize, oh no, it's over. And then the camera falls to the ground, and it's over. And that's the final thing, that it's at the high note. And that's what I want to do here as well. I want to end on the high note. So there's this evil, twisted Saint Nicholas that's in the game. You will meet him behind door number 1. Anyway, it's probably going to be done next Christmas. 2024, I mean. Anyway, I don't have them in here anymore. So normally when you start with a game, you have the hands. We don't need the hands probably. Yeah, I need so much to do. It's. But I think the whole aesthetic of the game might do it. And the thing is, if I don't finish the game before Christmas, I could either spend the next year working on this game, or spend the next year working on similar controls. And I think that's something I might do. Fine-tuning the teleportation, fine-tuning the way puzzles are made. In Unity, there are a lot of packages that help you out with all kinds of stuff, including puzzles. We still need to invent the wheel. So we probably are not going to use the hands. We do need to have the cursors, and the cursors have a ray. Now I disabled the rays because I don't like the default rays. They are fine when you start, but I'm never a fan of defaults. Everybody's using defaults, so I want to use something else. Now if we start this right here and we view this, we might be able, are we in VR? Yes, so now we have these white lines. And those are pointing in the direction we point our controllers. So now it should be easier to point to the button. Let's check this out in VR. I want to see how much this already changes. But I want to fine-tune these. If time or things won't be an issue, I'm going to do particles, but I don't think that's possible. Let's switch to, although I think it's still running. Let's just refresh to make sure. See, now we have, it's looking kind of weird because we still have the original controls, but now, oh, it's actually turning off. Oh, that's interesting. So they're turning off when you point at something, so we need to make them point. Now we need to do something. Yeah, we need to do something with them. So in here, they're always pointing. That's not what I... Yeah, we probably need to have them always pointing. We probably need to have them always pointing. I don't know exactly what's turning them off. It could be... So this is the cursor ray object. We might need to check the original the code of the cursor component to see why they are turning off. So when they hover over something, you hover out of it, they turn off. I don't know why. Let me... Well, it's not the exact component, but we're close. So we have a cursor and a cursor target, and I think the cursor component is what's doing... Or at least the cursor component has that property that's... for the cursor ray, that's this one. Oh, that's on deactivate. Oh, it could be the distance. Did I change the distance on these? Max distance is 5. And there is nothing I think they would target. But if you would target, like, this mesh, for example, we don't see it either. We can test what happens if we add a big collider behind it. Let's just abuse this interactables thing. Let's do a physics body. Let's do a box. Let's make them visible. So now we can see these physics bodies. Let's make them white, and they don't have to have, this one doesn't have to have a big, but this big thing is our test subject. Now we don't want to have gravity turned on. I think we can have it kinematic. It doesn't have to do anything. I wonder the teleport locations. What did I do here? Oh wait, thank you. I haven't. I'm glad you're here. So yeah, I haven't set up Rosie yet to help out with the streams, to automatically switch when I'm wearing a VR headset or not. So what I did, I just added a physics body. This purple, well, actually these two purple lines that you see in the back here, just to have some target. I think that's the issue. And I was just about to check what I use for the other locations. So we can point the cursor at these locations. So static simulate, and they are in the nav group. Now there is a property on these controllers, the collision group. Collision group is 0. That's interesting. What are the buttons doing? Text, title, button, target. Aha. So that's 4. It's using the floor group and we're teleporting to a target. That's what the 4 is for. The 4 is for. So 4 is the group we detect the collisions of. Now for these I didn't set it up, but we might, if we just set these cursors to collision group 4, at least have these things. Now I want to test this in VR, so now we don't need to forget to switch back. Let's refresh this. So these hands are now on that collider in the back. And we can see them on the ground. That's interesting. So if we do this, see, now teleporting is way easier since we have those little hands. I don't have the snap rotate. We need to add the snap rotate. I can only teleport with the left hand. I think we can teleport with both hands. Yes, this makes it so much easier. So that one is probably too far away for the hand. Ah. Cool. So we can delete this one. It is working. It just Well, the hands are working, the rays are not working. But I'd rather have the hands. I think we might be able to do something with changing cursor. That you would see a cursor on objects and where you cannot interact with. And as soon as you hit the cursor of something you can interact it with, that hand would change. And maybe we can just even have this, but then I need to change the whole way the teleportation works. So I can change this arrow to something else. I don't want to do that. How hard would it be to make it that I can teleport with both hands? I think that will be pretty hard. Although with one hand you teleport and the other hand you would snap rotate. Did I make the snap rotate? Player rotate, yes. Curious to see if it's actually working. Oh. I cannot even test it. We need to do the VR. Luckily we have a VR headset right here. Let me grab the... Oh, we took down the browser, apparently. Yes. So now we can snap rotate, we can teleport. So there are some bugs with the teleportation still. I want it to face a certain direction when you teleport. But I cannot teleport with the other hand. And there is no way of knowing where you target here, but... we have progress. We can do something. Let's do a quick commit so we don't lose anything. So we have snap, rotate, better cursor, or no, not the better cursor. Cursor on teleport target. It's a start. Oh, I need to have the sound effects back. Okay. I still kind of think that just interacting with it should be enough to teleport. Anyway, I want to create something next that we can use to interact with all these objects that are at this point randomly placed around. But I want to be able to grab them. So what I want to do is the similar way as we did with pressing the button. We can hover over one of these objects, trigger, and at that point the object will teleport to our hand. And we don't need to, we need to keep the trigger pressed, otherwise we let it go. We can rotate it all the way around, and as soon as we let go, it goes back to the original position. At some point, we can extend that if we let it go within a certain range of the right sock, the right socking, then it would go in, otherwise it'd go back. Or maybe just fall to the ground. Falling to the ground will be easier to build. Since if you look at outside, we have this, you see the red of the pink rings? That's the floor level. Everything that goes down ends on the floor. That floor. Well, first let's build something to be able to grab them. Now there is one thing that I learned from working on That Secret Circle, another game we built with Wonderland. And one thing we ran into is when you have the model, there's a lot of objects in here. For example, this nutcracker that is coming from that model. It's just in that model somewhere. Now, if I would change something and I would export again, this nutcracker would be there again, or it could change. And if I would add, for example, physics body to this, if this would change, this would break. If I add scripts to it, it would break. So what I actually want to do is somehow create the interactable outside of this and then reference it to this nutcracker. And whatever I do outside should happen to the nutcracker. Now I've been working on a little script to do that, but it's not complete yet, I think. It's in the interaction library, which is WLE interaction. Now this is just a reference still on my disk, and there is a helper component. No, it's on the helper. Huh, I think I removed it. I didn't need it, so I removed it. Oh no, it's this one. But this is only doing the position, not the rotation. And this would only work if it is at the exact location of the object. So if I would rotate, then this will it's something 90 degrees. That object would rotate 90 degrees. That was the idea. But if this is offset by a meter, and I would rotate the first object, the pivot of that other object needs to be different as well. But that should not really matter because we can just work with that. So the pivot of this thing is at the bottom here. So the thing we are creating to pick it up should have the pivot at the same position. And then when we move it, rotate it, whatever, it should stay the same. Or for now, we can just say, well, screw it, we're just moving the whole nutcracker out of it. Maybe that's an even better idea. I think that's a better idea. That will make our lives a bit easier. Yes. So we just move the interactable to here. So now the nutcracker is in the interactables. Easy. So now when we do a... physics? Now I think we can use a box for this. And we can just position the box. Since we don't really need... Yeah, when we grab it into our hands, we will have... We use the we use the center. No, we're doing it differently. We're going to separate things. We're going to add an empty object. This is our nutcracker. Nutcracker. And this mesh is going to go inside here. So this mesh is going to be a child of the nutcracker. Now this is in a weird position. We actually need to take this position, copy it over there, and then reset this. So now the position of the nutcracker is here. The scaling and everything is one level deeper. What's the 10%? No, slightly rotated. So I might want to have this straight. And then rotate it later on if I want to have it rotated. That would make things easier with the rest of the axis. So now we add a physics body as well to the same object. And the nice thing we can do now is say we want a box. How high is this? It doesn't say. Well, we can just move this up. I think this is... the height is pretty decent. Say we want to do something like this. Ooh, it's actually floating. Is that true? Yes. Oh no, we need to change it here. Now there will be a lot of trickery with this, since oh well, for now we can just leave it to this, then it will be easier to grab. If we turn on gravity, oh, it falls down because there is no... So now we are going into a rabbit hole. If you want to put something on the table, you need to have a physics object there. So, oh, but those can go outside. Yes. So let's just add an empty object here. And let's call it this static physics. So I want to have one for this commode. So let's add a physics body. Let's call this commode. Now there's a reason why I call these physics in the end. At the end, I can search here, and if I do physics, I can easily find everything that has physics. Now we didn't do it with the thing yet, and I didn't do it with the floor. But I think I should call all the things with physics, because it happens when you want to change things. For example, the groups, and then you need to go through the entire tree. search everything to find the physics, and now you can just select it, which makes life way easier. So we have this commode physics. Now this is still in the middle of nowhere, probably right over there. It should be a box. Now we need to match it a bit. It doesn't have to be perfect. Do one. Oh. Just give me 1 sec. So, I'm sorry. Normally I won't take calls or anything during live streams, but this one was kind of important. If we have a collision layer or tags, yes, we do have these. These are the groups. So we don't have tags. Like in Unity, you cannot add a custom tag to anything. You cannot add custom groups. Well, you can technically you can add a custom tag. In my own library, my own Wonderland. I don't think I have it loaded here. No, it's not in this game. I've created the tag script. Thank you. No, I have a tag script, and that's just basically adding a comma-separated list of strings to a component, and one component can say, well, do you have this tag? Yes or no? That's basically what's happening. But these groups and blocks are how you can interact between certain things. So, for example, if I want to have this nutcracker physics body, so this nutcracker itself right now is not bound to the physics body, which is actually something I need to fix. I think we need to do this. So now when I turn on physics, nothing happens. Uh-oh. Something happens. We just missed it. So it's glitching. It's probably because the bottom of the one box is in the other box. So when we have stuff like this, we need to make sure this is above the other one. Otherwise, see, now it just falls down. Bloop. And that is because in this physics body, we have gravity turned on. And we say, well, we have all these groups. That's what this object is in. And we interact with all of the other ones. So I probably want to do something like this. Or I can even take it one step further. I said I cannot add custom groups, but I can change them a little bit. I have these groups, and the last two are not, but we don't have an enemy, but say I want group 7, I want this to be toys. If I can type toys. Oh, no, 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 no. Okay. This bug was supposed to be fixed. Now, luckily, hopefully, I didn't hit save. I think the little trick was nope. Enemy. And we call this toys. And we calling this block 7. I don't know. Oh, the bug is even bigger. I have not seen this happen. No. Okay. So this is a bug. Normally you could rename these. Let's make sure it is not something that is... Now these are also in the project file. So if we search for a block, see, so they're not in here. I'm not sure in what version I created this game. There was a version change at some point where these were added to the project file. And the trick was to add a space to them, so they will be added to the project file. Oh, I didn't even save the project file. Okay, I'm not going to mess with it. It's probably going to mess up the entire game. Technically, you should be able to rename these and then do something with them. Let's keep it at that for now. So here you see another thing you need to keep in mind. The order of things is not set in stone. You can something you should never do when working with different nested objects is assuming the objects are in order. You see, they changed order, and that's because they are in a different order, probably in the project file, and that's why they mixed up or something. I don't know. But you should never assume objects are in a certain order. Always reference things directly. Or add a very basic component to store an order or something. Anyway, we now have this table. And we have the nutcracker. I was going to... Oh, so now it's probably falling through the ground. I was going to create group 6 for the object. So now this is group 6. And this is blocking group 6 as well. So I can turn everything off. As long as blocking on group 6. Oh, I even think... No, it's still... The other object, the commode, is just interacting with everything. But if we say, well, this should not block group 6, now it's falling through it, and if it should block group 6, it also needs to be in group 6. That's something I didn't know. Now it's blocking. So you can have different interactions. Say I want to have that cursor. So right now that hand is hovering over this commode. I actually think I should change this to only be the slide top of the is that the official term, commode? I thought a commode was something where you would change your babies on. That's what we do. That's what it's called in Dutch. I might want to interact with the drawers. That's probably what I'm going to do with. That's why there is a nice point here. Everything is here for a reason. There's books on here. There can be more stuff. There's actually a gift on top there. And I want to have this. You should be able to open this. But for example, one of the rings of the Christmas tree is going to be missing. And it's probably going to be hidden inside here or something. I also want that you need to look under the bed. There's nothing there yet. But how cool would it be if you look under the bed? And as soon as you look under the bed, you can you see something, someone standing there with hooves. Yeah, I think this is it could be that this is from a bathroom. I don't know. I just grabbed models from everywhere. I was kind of going for a classic, maybe 1920s style with this. But now technically, so our hands, we're in group 4. I think it's called nav. That's what 1, 2, 3, 4. I think nav was 4. So if I would remove nav from this one, and I think we better should remove it from everything else. So it's only group 6, and now this nutcracker we're going to have in group 6, but also in group nav. Yes. Well, technically this is a one room house. So this is a bedroom with a fireplace and a seat to sit and a Christmas tree. The only thing missing is a toilet. Then it will be a 1-bedroom house. Hey, wait, what did I do here? I closed the file browser. Huh. Oh. Now we need to test this in VR. And I'm going to quickly change this again. And I want to... I think I might just disable everything. Would it work? I think, maybe. Well, let's keep the music enabled. Bonus level outside, yeah. Well, you are on the second floor of the house, so there is something going on. Yes, let's test it in VR. Let's go into VR. Let's quickly check. It might be that it's not running anymore, since we had a crash. Oh, shooting star. Let's see. Oh, and because we crashed, the whole VR is down. Damn it. Just give me 1 sec. I probably need to do this again. Yes. This. That worked. Let's go to VR. Wait. No, the sound is only on my end. So now we should be able, if everything is right. Oh wait, it didn't. Is it gone? It's too dark, but there's no toy. Is it falling through the ground? It is falling through the ground. So it's cool that you can test the physics here. Since it's just falling down. It is group 6, right? Nutcracker is group 6 as well. Why is it falling? Why isn't it colliding? Maybe the commode is too thin now. Interesting. Okay. Fine by me. So let's go, let's refresh to make sure. It should not be necessary to refresh all the time, but again, it's a bit too dark. I think I don't get why it's falling through the ground. Did I transition to a black screen? The scene was pretty dark. Maybe that was the issue. The overview lights I thought were overview lights should have a couple of lights turned on, but... Is there a light in this corner? There's no light in this corner yet. But I don't get why it's not here if you look at it. Oh, wait. It is just sometimes... Okay, then we do something different. Let's move this just back slightly. Now when we are going to touch drawers, we can just make sure they're slightly in front of this. And now we can just say, well... Now it's probably not going to fall through anymore, ever. This is an interesting bug. I've never seen this happen. Let's work around it and make this one kinematic. So as long as kinematic is on, nothing is happening. If I turn it off, it falls down. It even falls through the ground. That's the weird thing. Maybe we should just block everything and interact with everything. It's still going to fall through the ground. And even through the floor. That's the weird thing. It's going down somewhere. So I don't get why it's falling through the floor. Since the floor should be infinite. That's the whole idea of the floor. We'll just make it kinematic. I just want to get this done. No gravity. And then we can just turn this off for now as well. We don't need it. Nothing is happening. I just want to see if we can grab it. That's the whole idea. If I want to grab it, if we let it go, we can just put it back. We can build that in. That's also fine. It doesn't have to fall down. I just want to grab it so you can see it up close. That's the whole idea. And to do that, I want to change the icon to start. So let's check this in VR again. Yes. Recenter. Make sure we refresh. Go in VR. See VR? Yes, we see VR. Ah. My controller's not working. Okay. So now we can teleport right over here. See, now we see the hand. Both hands should be on there. Now you probably cannot see the whole thing because it's too dark. It's very hard to see. But we should be able to you should be able to see the hand. The game is very dark. I can see it. So when we grab it, it should go to our hand. Let's see. How can we make that happen? We might need to that controller that icon, it is a building component in Wonderland Engine. I actually used in this case. I think it is casting array. But I have the cursor, it's just a mesh. And I added a billboarding script so it's always facing the player no matter what. And by default, these cursor hits, if you create a new default project in Wonderland, you get these two objects, and they're just a small sphere. And you have the cursors for your hands. And these have a cursor component, which is reference these objects. It's default. It's a default Wonderland project. And I'm only a tiny bit messing with it because I have the collision group. The teleport targets are not default. Well, the hands are not default either. Because it's not the normal cursor. The teleport targets are a modification of the default ones. And they will be in a interaction library that is coming out real soon. Well, a first alpha preview, early access version of that library is coming out pretty soon. But since I'm making the library, I'm already testing it out. That's something anyone can use in their own projects. You can either have a target like this, and then it just takes the center of a physics object, or you can have it set to the floor. So the teleport, as a teleport locomotion, there is a teleport to target. If you turn that off, I can probably show it. No, I cannot. I don't have it set up correctly. So if you turn that off and you have, in this case, the floor group is 4 and your floor is in the group 4, the 4th group, then you can just teleport around. And instead of the default, I think it's the 2 little feet with an arrow. Since I don't care about the direction, I made just 1 arrow. And there's a little trick I learned a while back to get this little outline. The red outline. It's actually 2 meshes. But the second one has the faces flipped. And it's slightly bigger. So you actually see the inside of another object. And since the back faces are curled away, you can see the inside, which is the white arrow. And then you can see a slight piece where it's bigger. That's behind it, but it's because it's flipped. It looks like this. It's a really easy, clever trick to get an outline. I saw I saw this a while ago, and I was like, wait, they used a shader or something here to get an outline, and a very nice shader. It looked pretty good. No, it wasn't a shader. It was just a simple trick. No. And they did it with an entire model. Just have it slightly bigger, flipped inside out, and then just a black material on it, and you had a black outline. And I changed it to a red outline in this case, to have a little bit of red and an indication that something is going on. And it's working from all directions. There's always an outline. It's so fun to have. Now I forgot what I was doing. We were going to grab this little nutcracker, and therefore I needed to add a script, and I need to handle a click event on this. Now we do have a cursor. And one of the nice things about the cursor is that we can add a cursor target. So we can just add a cursor target to this and then handle that. So if we do this, add cursor target. The cursor target itself doesn't do anything. That's not the right script. Cursor target, we need cursor target. So the cursor target itself doesn't do anything except handling events from the cursor. For example, a down event or an up event or those kind of things. So that's what I'm going to do next, is add an up event. And then we're going to grab probably this object, or we can just do this object. The difficulty is this one has already a local change to get the physics object right, but this one is positioned in the world. So we need to have actually have something in between. We can just keep the local translation in this within the parent and then just move it and then just set the local translation back, and then it should be in the same spot again. We can do that. Let's add a script first to grab it. Where are we going to put it? Is it an action? I created a button trigger, and the button trigger is listening to... Well, that's actually what we need already. I think. Do we need a trigger base? No, we need to have a trigger. New file. Grab object.ps. I'm going to use my component thing. It's a snippet. Now we get a lot of squigglies, and that's because I'm trying out a thing. I want to override everything explicitly in this game, just to try it out to see if that works. I think we need to override start as well. And that's because we want to store the local position of this object. So we can say this dot original local position. Let's do it differently. Let's do private local position is a fact3. We should be able to call... Why don't we have IntelliSense? Oh, it's not a type. Let me call this. So now we just grab the original position. We say this object get position local, and we pass that vector. What's good practice to do is not create vectors throughout your game. Now this start is only running once, so you could do a vec create in start. But if you pass a vector to one of these objects, it will use the vector you pass in, and that way you can, for example, in an update loop, just reuse the same vector over and over again, because creating it will just get create performance issues at some point. Okay. Now there are a couple of functions, methods in button trigger. On down, on hover, on unhover. And unup is not in there yet, but I think we need unup as well. I think unup is also a... Oh. Unup is also a thing in the cursor target. Unup. Now the reason I did it like this is because you really need to make sure you remove all these events, and Normally you won't be running into issues like this, where you need to do all these kinds of things a lot. But when you're building bigger games, you will eventually run into weird things. Especially when, for example, you are going to use multiple projects. Now, I'm not sure if I'm going to use multiple projects in this game. I might for a menu or a credit screen. I just create a new scene, a new project, and use that. And if you go from one project to another project, and you don't clean up your event handlers, you will build up event handlers that are still running in the background. And that can give issues, will give issues, weird issues, because some events go off. Now this, you might probably not going to hover over an object that's not in the scene anymore. But if you do the similar things with entering XR, leaving XR, you get really weird things. So it's better to just clean up after yourself. So now we have an on up as well. So now I can override on up. So what I want to do is when you do on down is grab the object, and on up is place the object back. Now, but I think, well, for now, we're just going to do that real quickly. And when you grab the object, we should move it to your hand. And it should follow your hand. That's a tricky one. With a cursor. The cursor has an object. Let me just check. Cursor is on here. If we use the cursor object, this is moving. This is an input. It's probably moving with your hands. So if we would say, you know what? Let's do something else first. Let's just grab the position of the cursor and move the object to that cursor when you grab it. So we do private is grabbed is false. When we grab it, we say this is grabbed is true. Oh wait, and we should use underscores. The reason for that is that we're using TypeScript, and it doesn't, in this game it doesn't really matter. But I might refactor this and use it in a library, for example. And in a library, it can be used in JavaScript as well. And it is common practice to use an underscore as a private variable in JavaScript, because the private keyword doesn't translate to JavaScript. Now there is another way of doing this. Say we want to have this property private in JavaScript, we can do this. And now this property is private as well. Now it's really private. This is private, but not really. And if you do the pound sign, it is private. As in really, really, really private. Let me grab my last bit of coffee. Okay. The reason I want to have this is that if we have already grabbed something, if this is grabbed, then we return. No need to grab twice. And the same thing is what we do here. If it's not grabbed, I'm not sure how we can do that, but if somehow we get the up event and we don't have it grabbed, return. If we have it grabbed, we say this grab is false. Now we say we want to have let's do a const temp vec. I just said we don't create vectors here, but I just want to have one right now here for a second. We're going to refactor this out probably, but I'm not sure if I need it. So we do cursor object get position world in the temp vec, and we say is it this object or the object? Yeah, it is this object as well. Object is the same. Is that correct? Is that the object? Let's check real quick. Yeah, or are we going to grab the parent? I don't think it really matters. If you want to have these separate. For now, we can just do it like this. And if we release it, we do it the other way around. We say object set position local, this original, this. Will that work? I think so. Can we test this locally? We don't have a lot of lights here. We don't have a lot of lights here. So this is something that's really annoying. Yeah, now we have the VR. And I know there is this other extension, but I have some really weird issue on my machine that other extension is not working. Are we on the button? No. Odd. Now we're on the button. Okay. The other extension is a bit easier to work with. So here we have that that object. Now we need to find it with the cursor. Oh, we're way over there. There we go. A tiny bit lower. It was way over there. Okay, so now we have it. If we now select, nothing happens. Oh. So when you want to have your scripts interact with objects in your scene, one thing you need to do is add the objects here. What did I call it? Grab or something? Grab object. It doesn't have anything special. Now this is going to be reset. Now we do VR, and it's not working. But the question is it object here? I cannot see it. It's too dark. I'm going to make a quick change. So we have this title act, and we set the lights to text. If we set the light to overview, should be already refreshed. So now we have a bit more light. Let's still there. Nothing is happening. So the question is it working? We can go into the sources, go into grab object, and set a breakpoint right here. If we now go here and we do this, why is this not working? Why are we not hitting the breakpoint? Is the controller improved the headset? There is this hand that is on top of the object, and this is the end of the ray. So if this ray is touching the object, we know the ray of this... Yeah, it's hard to tell here. The ray of the controller is pointing into this object. There's no other way, otherwise we don't see the cursor. Did I miss something? Did I remove the... Yes, we are moving the controller, the nutcracker to the controller position. But after we press it, and I have a breakpoint here. So before we move it, we should hit the breakpoint. If I press the controller in the in the emulator, we should hit this breakpoint first. And then we should move it to the position. We should change the position. So no matter what, we should hit the breakpoint first. Now I have a hunch. No, we use all the... So if we can touch one of the buttons, we can trigger the title button. That's this one. Oh, this is a trigger. That's probably the issue. The triggers do not do much. But since we're not doing anything but just touching it. Cool, we're still here. We're not hitting the breakpoint. So that's now also not working. So here we do the title button thing. This is the button that is on the button that is on the title screen. It is hidden right now, but it is showing up when it starts. This button here. This has a physics object, a cursor target, and another script that handles the button. This is a kinematic trigger in all groups. So if this one is also a kinematic trigger in all groups, we technically should hit the Are we passing the things along? Yeah. Hmm. Did it really build? So it's not even doing VR now. I'm not sure. Maybe we just... the build did not go right. Maybe. Yes, mute. Now we need to... find our little friend again. Probably somewhere around there. Now, what's different between the two buttons? If I do a breakpoint here, and we rotate this one, this is tricky to do. You know what? Let's just reset the pose. That might be easier to do. Easy to work with. Let's rotate. Lost. This a bit there. See, this is interesting. It's not working either. I think we can just test VR. We might need to reset, refresh the browser real quick. Whoa, what was that? So this is working. It's not coming to my... It's not coming to my hand, but the... It's even too far away if we stand here. So the 5 meters or something I chose is too far away. And it's hard to find it. We don't get a breakpoint. Let me think real quick. Is this going to work? Maybe we have errors. Nope. Let me... This should work. Yes. Inspect. Now we're inspecting remote. We don't have errors. We should be able to take that grab object. Now I'm going to quickly peek in VR and hit the button. Check. We don't hit the breakpoint. What am I missing? So why are these working? But this one isn't. There's literally no change. This part is changing. There is literally nothing different. Then why can I click the one? That's a good one. We can check that real quick. Let's do the grab object. We go to start. We refresh. We hit the breakpoint. So that's working. So the script is running. The weird thing is, in the browser, oh, this is working again. Okay. Sometimes I don't get these things. Go about here. Come on. So this is not... Okay, if we go to button trigger. It's working here. Nope. Let's quickly check if this is working. So we do hit this breakpoint, but we have different buttons. So let's check this. Let's go to console. This object name. So which object do we have? Target. I think the buttons are called target. Yes. Okay, so that's correct. Continue. What do we have now? Target, okay. That's the other button. Continue. Now we get in start. Okay. Now we get in unactivate. Physics body. Is that thing called physics body? No, it's called physics body. So we are in the unactivate of this object. So technically this is activated and the events are hooked up. I know what's going on. Oh, damn it. Yes, I figured it out. Thanks. What's happening? We have some code here in the on start. We had a breakpoint in this on start. What we want to do is call the original method. The whole reason I call this on down, and not just down or whatever, there's a layer in between. And the reason is that you don't have to call these. And I did it even more complex, I think, in the, not the tasks. I did it here in the tasks. These are abstract. You need to override those. But these are called from the start, from the update, and from the end. So this is a better way of doing it. Now this is not a component. So this start is a different start. But if you just override it again, you need to make sure you call the base start again. So it's probably working now. It's already refreshing automatically. Probably everything is hooked up now. We still have it over there. So now when we click this, boom, we hit the breakpoint. Nice. Now we do this. We go to here and we go to here and here. Well, let's continue. Just continue. Plop. Now it's here. It works. And if I let it go, it should go back. Plop. Now it's over there again. Now that hand cursor is still on top of it. That's pretty funny. But it might make it so that it's clear that you grab it. Now I need to add something else because I want to have it rotating, but that's something we can just add on top of the grab thing. Let's first check this out in VR. Let's make sure we refresh. I think we still have a breakpoint right here. Yeah, let me remove the breakpoint real quick. Okay. You guys see something? No, you don't. There we have it. So it's now up here in front of us, and when we release. Oh, that's interesting. If I release on top of it, it goes back. But if I would release outside of it, it stays here. And now it can never go back. Oh, it can go back. Oh yeah, the original position is set in start. Interesting. This won't be an issue if we're going to move it with our hand. So if we're going to move the object with our hand, then we won't have that issue. Now the great thing is that it's centered to our hand. So what I'm going to do is go in here, we go into the grab object, and we just say override update. If it's not grabbed, if not this is grabbed, return. There is no update here, right? No, it's only the start. We need to have the cursor object. So we say this dot underscore grabbed by cursor. this cursor. I don't know. Something like this. Or undefined. Oh, it's not or undefined. Or null. Or was it short for this? If we release it, it's placed back and we say this dot grab cursor is null. We cannot set it to null. We need to explicitly name it null. Then we can as well initialize it as null. I don't care. It is explicitly null. If it's grabbed, it's the cursor. If we update it, well, if we don't have a grabbed cursor, there's something wrong. It could be, maybe, in some weird way, that the update is in between or something. I don't know. It's probably not even possible. Let's add a const temp vec position. And let's do another const. We don't need to set the scale, but we need to have the rotation. It's a quaternion. Quad rotation equals quad create. We need to reference this one. And if we have a grabbed cursor, grab by cursor, we say this dot underscore grab by cursor dot object dot get position temp back, and we do the rotation. That's not right. This dot underscore grabbed by cursor rotation temp quad, and now we say this dot object set position world that position, and we set the rotation to that rotation, and now technically it should follow the hand. And the only way to make sure that we really see that is in VR. So let's go to VR. Let's go. Refresh this. I'm not sure what's happening with the thing there. Okay, let's grab it. Yeah, we need to change the cursor, but it is rotated. If I let go, it goes back. This is cool. Now, what would be even cooler is it's really fun, actually. Oh, it doesn't work on the second hand. Why not? It works on this hand? It doesn't work on the other hand. Is that because we started with that hand? No, it's not working on that hand. That's weird. I need to change the cursors if it's too close. What might be cool to implement is that the cursor is not affected by the distance. The scaling is different. So if something is close, the cursor will be roughly the same size as that it would be if something would be farther away. One other thing that would be really cool is if you touch it or grab it with a hand, it's not instant, it flies to your hand in just a second. And I think we can do that as well. Also, I don't get why we cannot grab it with the other hand. There is nothing in here that says we can only do it with one hand. I mean, we do get a cursor. That's either the left hand or the right hand. what we can do is take the difference between these two and slowly go over time to the other vector or something. We can't just lerp. Do we have a lerp in here already? No. I have a lerp in my own library. I don't know. What time is it? Well, I think almost at 2 hours today. I think I'm going to end the stream here for today. I'm not sure when the next stream will be. Let's just open or end on this stream, on this view. So I'm not sure when the next stream will be. Could be even... Oh no, not tomorrow. Tomorrow is a special day in the Netherlands. It probably will be Wednesday or Thursday. Just make sure, if you want to be notified, just make sure you hit the subscribe button or join the Discord. And I will notify you. Well, thanks for hanging out with me, David, and a 727891. I'm glad you learned something. If you have questions, just feel free to hit me up on any of the socials. Yeah, and with that, I would like to thank everybody for watching, and I will see you in the next one. Have a great rest of your day. Bye-bye!